Hi guys, so I'm really excited for multiple reasons. I have finally got around to doing my first drink infused book review. The book that I'm featuring for my very first drink book review is Malfunction by J.E. Perazzi. This is the first book in the Malfunction trilogy, and just, oh my god, guys. Okay, to start off and tell you guys about this book, let me tell you a little bit about the author first. J.E. Perazzi is a speculative fiction, English-born speculative fiction author. Speculative fiction basically covers a wide range of subsets like dystopian, utopian, sci-fi, paranormal, etc. The speculative part comes into where it kind of plays on, speculative fiction is designed to get you to think. It's basically, the author has created this world in which they're also speculating on where humanity is gonna head, or where it can head, like where it's at now, what kind of things can happen, and what will happen to humanity as a result. Now, I really like this because part of the reasons a lot of people are just like, you just like werewolf books because not werewolves or some weird shit. I don't know. But a lot of the reason that I like books with shifters and paranormal creatures is because eventually that issue always comes up. And then you're kind of forced to define really what humanity is. Like, does it go just past genetics and into what makes you human? Are you not human because you're half werewolf or cyborg or etc., or is your thoughts, your actions, your feelings make you human? So that being said, let me tell you about Malfunction. So Malfunction basically takes place in this subterranean city called Bunker. Bunker is basically fortified against these creatures that they really still are researching and don't know a whole lot about yet, but they're these terrifying creatures who use fear as a weapon, amongst others, that are called wreckers. Now, Minerva is a geneticist who lives in a subterranean city, and as a geneticist, that's kind of an upper echelon type job for this post-apocalyptic kind of dystopian world. Whereas other people who have these positions would be like highly respected and etc., and have all these friends and blah 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 blah. Minerva is kind of set apart for reasons that I won't get into because spoilers. Minerva has this childhood friend that she has not seen in years for other reasons, spoilers. Cal is a friend of Minerva's from X amount of years ago. They kind of grew up together and watched each other's back, and then naturally they both went their separate ways. Now, they both kind of, what I really like is they both have their own ideas about how the other is living and what may have happened to the other and what type of person the other is now, and neither one of them are right. So they've got these preconceived notions going in, and Cal approaches Minerva because he knows what her job is and asks for her help. Cal brings her to this area where he has hidden this cyborg named Baz. Now, Baz is a super soldier that's part of this experimental program where basically these kids have been not even genetically modified, they have been bred with a very sophisticated, very complicated combination of genes and DNA splicing and such, and then on top of that they are then basically interfaced with this really high-tech technology that allows them to not only be like part machine, but it allows people to pilot them like a first-person video game. So a lot of these times there are these tournaments where these kids are playing what they think are video games, and they're actually piloting these freaking soldiers as practice rounds. Then there kind of is where that speculative fiction thing comes in that I was explaining earlier, and the question comes up as to what makes a person a human and what is right or wrong for these cyborgs, since they weren't born but created in a lab, so to speak, and raised for this purpose. Now, Baz, for his part, oh my god, I love me some Baz. Baz is completely and totally endearing because he's struggling with his emotions. As a child, he was raised in this program. He's obviously not a child now. He's raised in this program with like the minimal things you need to make a person not psychotic. You get the minimum amount of touch, personal interaction, and etc. and etc. Now, the thought that went into these details, I love, because as a person who works in the psychology field, that's a thing that always catches my attention. Not that I think that's something that everybody knows or should know as common knowledge, but I like to see that that level of thought went into it. It wasn't enough for her to just say, hey, these cyborgs were raised to be soldiers and leave it at that. She let you know that they had handlers, and these handlers, you know, were there specifically to give them like the things that make a child not a sociopath, to give them human touch and read them stories and etc. until they were past the threshold where psychologically they needed it for developmental purposes. I fucking love that. Just, you have no idea. It's those little kind of things for me that excite the ever-loving shit out of me. That being said, Baz now as an adult is still basically struggling with what he knows a human is supposed to be and do and act and think and feel, and what he feels and how he expresses emotion, and then what he knows to be right or wrong, and how he has felt growing up in this program and basically being less than human. And now he has this friend Cal who is treating him as a thinking, feeling, emoting human being. So you kind of get to see that growth with him. You get to see that interaction with Baz and Cal, because Cal, oh my god, Cal is so fucking snarky. I love him. I love him. And then you get to see kind of that dynamic change when Minerva comes into the picture, because Minerva has been this like, get from point A to point B, keep my head down, do my job, just kind of a blasé person, until she gets snatched up into this whole thing with these rebel super soldiers. So Minerva gets swept out of her quiet little life and embroiled in this a little bit of a political intrigue kind of a deal. She's trying to figure out why this human has all these weird genetic DNA markers and why they're being basically used as fodder and piloted by other people, because it's not a thing, even working as a geneticist, that she knows about. So she's a bit, Minerva gets in over her head, starts looking into things she shouldn't. She catches the attention of the wrong individual, and shit just rolls downhill. I'm not going to tell you any more detail than that, because the joy in reading and experiencing this book, you know, besides just the detail and the thought that went into it, and how amazing the characters are in each of their growth and development, for all three of them, not just one that stands out as a whole. Like, it's been rare. I can probably count on one, maybe 1.5 hands, the books I've read where I liked all of the main characters equally. Take that for what, I mean, you will. But again, I say, like, I'm not going to tell you guys more than that, because part of the joy of reading this book is just seeing the things that come out of this plot and just smack you from all angles. And it's action-packed and it's exciting, and once, you know, basically it gets from where to Minerva gets dragged into this mess, it just takes the fuck off. And the ending, dear Jesus, I'm gonna cry. Enough of summarizing the book before I give anything away. What I really like about her writing style, because let me tell you the thing, okay? Sci-fi scares me. I love sci-fi movies because you can put all of the text stuff in as visuals, but a lot of times when you write it, all of the descriptions of the technological stuff gets overwhelming and it starts to read as a dry manual as opposed to an exciting fiction. What I really like about Malfunction is that the writing style is written in, it never gets completely encumbered by just like technological fuckery, and the tech that's in there, it's not random made up bullshit. I've read sci-fi novels where descriptions of the science is just completely made up, like it'll be like a string of initials or it'll be some ridiculous fucking word like flux capacitor, and I'm just fucking angry. I was so very happy to see that this book did not have any of that bullshit in it. And I don't take that to mean it didn't have any scientific information in it at all. It had a great and detailed, like, the sci-fi aspect of it. You can tell just how much thought went into it, which always fucking excites me because so much shit gets published now and it's like, what, who let you? Never mind. What I also really like is that at no point in any given time did the author beat you over the head and say, this character is this character is this, and humanity, etc., and blah blah blah, until, like, she doesn't lead you by the hand or beat you over the head with it. She makes her point subtly, and then you notice them as you read, and you're like, oh, okay, and it's, thank you, because that infuriates me. So I just, like, this book for me was a 5-star read. And I'll also take the time to say that this has made me so fucking happy, because I read a lot of indie authors and I read a lot of indie work, and indie authors and indie work gets a bad rep because a lot of the stuff that people self-publish on Amazon are like those $1 or $2.99 or whatever Kindle deals. So nobody really wants to read indie anymore, and for years that's all I read. So I really would like to continue this and feature an indie author at the minimum once a month on my channel. So yay for that. So I didn't tell you too much about the characters for a simple reason. Is because a lot of their development and the things that they shaped them, I consider to be not necessarily spoilery, but it's just a thing that I want you to read for yourself. But if I had to pick a favorite, and it's I've always had a soft spot for the character that kind of struggles with his humanity, not because he's inhuman or does inhuman things, but because of what other people classify him as, and thus color his view of himself. So Bass already had like the lead, but Cal is a close second. The sass and the snark that come out of this man and the sarcasm, I fucking love him. So I have picked a drink for this book with Cal in mind. Let's get to that part. I wanted to go all kind of crazy and make a drink that matched the book cover and etc. But being the world that this is set in, a lot of these things wouldn't be easily acquired. So keeping it simple. Plus, I feel like a whiskey sour is just the kind of thing that Cal would drink, because it looks like whiskey and his friends will gotta know he put sugar in it. That's so very Cal. Very simple, and it's gonna be a bastardized version because I gotta drink it. Y'all don't. I'm not drinking that with egg whites in it. Do you know how many stomach bugs you can get from putting raw egg in your face? Nah. Anyway, so for this, my whiskey is Highland Single Malt Scotch, just because I wanted some Scotch. So, drink is fairly simple. You start off with whiskey as a base, and then traditionally you can either add fresh lemon juice, a little bit of egg white, and simple syrup, or fresh lemon juice and simple syrup, or fresh lemon juice and sugar, or fresh lemon juice, sugar, and egg white. You see where I'm going with this. For this, I have just gone with sweetened lime juice because sugar is not really a thing that you'll be able to get your hands on easily in a dystopian world. If you can, I don't think you're gonna waste it on liquor. So it's synthetic sugar, just a smidge to sweeten it up and put that kick of citrus in it. I will mix it off camera because I forgot my mixer, and y'all not about to watch me put a plastic spoon in this glass. Anyway, there you have it, a whiskey sour. Kind of. Go with it. So, like I said, this book is definitely, for me, a 5-star read, no qualifiers. It's not a 5-star read for this kind of book or a 5-star read for this kind of book. It's just no qualifiers. It's a 5-star read, and I fucking loved it, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. And once I picked it up, because it took me so long to read it and I suck. But once I picked it up, it was fucking amazing. And I hate myself for waiting so long. It was so good. So just trust me. Go read it. Please and thank you. I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.